Welcome to Wake Up on
Record.
Wednesday. Yes, recording is in progress. Welcome, welcome. Oh, yes, we need to go live for the Facebook, folks. All right. Hey, everyone, how are you doing? Anybody like scrambling to get food at the last minute and stuff like that? I know I am. What are you all up to? Hey, Cindy. Hey, Laura. Hey, Kim. Hey, Pam. All right. Well, y'all, today we are going to be talking about part 2 of how to not lose yourself in a relationship. Oh, hey, Israel. Hey, Sarah. So, we are going to review what I talked about last week, just to like give you the context again. And then I'm going to dive into some more tips because y'all know how annoying it is when you're like good friends just all of a sudden aren't available to hang out. They stop doing the things like going to the climbing gym with you or whatever when they have a partner, right? And we also, I'm hoping, get annoyed with ourselves when we realize like, why did I skip yoga class to go and like hang out with this dude or chick or whatever, right? And then we're like, why am I always giving up these things that I know are good for me? So I know that we've all been there at some point. In the beginning, whatever, when you're like having sex all day, all night, and like eating in bed and whatever, that like makes sense, right? But often what happens is we lose ourselves in a long-term relationship too. And next thing you know, we haven't done things we love for a long time, or we stop feeling comfortable going on our own and doing stuff and always defer to, oh, well, what would you like to do? Or, oh, you're going to miss me. Okay, I guess I won't go on that trip because you're going to miss me. Stuff like that, right? Even though that trip's been something we've been looking forward to or that we know would be really good for us, right? So, all right, so I'm going to have like 3 different videos going on right now. So I'm trying to organize it all. Okay. So, in terms of what we covered last time, right? One was attachment styles. Secure attachment style. Yay for those of you with a secure attachment style. There's not that many. Anxious attachment style, very common. And avoidant attachment style, right? So anxious attachment style gets very graspy when feeling insecure, is like always wondering if people don't like them, if they're going to be ditched, if friends will abandon them if they say no. Hey, Janice. Those kinds of behaviors, constantly like, oh, there's no emoji on here. What do you think? And overanalyzing relationships in that way, right? Avoidance styles are as soon as someone needs some intimacy, they're like, out of here, gone, right? So that's one thing we covered. Then we also covered how patriarchy in a patriarchal society, men are inherently valued more, and women are told that our worthiness is based on external factors like being in a relationship or how you look, etc. What other people think of you, right? And this leads to like crazy making anxiety as well, even if you had a secure attachment style, right? We also talked about mindfulness, how we need to be aware of the filters through which we experience all of life, right? Like, do we come with filters for anxious attachment? Do we come with filters for avoidance styles? Do we tend to be skeptical? Because that's based on like what our thoughts are and what our beliefs are, because beliefs are thoughts we've had over and over, right? Okay, then we talked about self-compassion, right? And self-compassion, about how we tend to shame ourselves, like, oh, I can't believe I lost myself again. I can't believe I gave up my yoga class for this person or whatever it is. And we don't, instead of shaming ourselves, we want to turn towards self-compassion first because it makes total sense. The other thing we talked about was how it makes total sense is because of evolution and how our brains naturally want to be liked and want other people to like us, because from an evolutionary perspective, it kept us safe. It was life or death when we were ostracized before from our tribe, because then we had nobody helping us with food, water, and shelter and protecting us from apex predators. And that shit was scary. Now, in general, That's not the concern, yet we still have that same reaction when people don't like us or think something wrong about us, right? All right. So today I want to introduce some new concepts. And if you want to catch up, you can watch the Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday from last week or listen to the podcast. But I want to introduce this concept of cognitive bias. Okay. And cognitive bias is basically when our brain has a built-in bias to filter life in a way that supports our current beliefs, right? So no matter what happens out there, we're going to have the same thoughts about it based on our beliefs, right? So something could happen like I get a text or something from a partner. Like I remember one time I was really anxious, drinking way too much coffee, probably too, but I was anxious in a relationship, looked at this text that said like, oh, hey, I love you. Can't wait to see you. And I was like, why are they sending that? They don't normally send that. I was like suspicious, right? It's like, maybe they're feeling guilty about something instead of like someone with a secure attachment style would be like, oh, that's so sweet, right? So we have filters. Somebody could behave perfectly, but if our beliefs and thoughts don't change, we're still going to do crazy making shit. And the way we lose ourselves in relationship is because we get anxious that that person is going to not love us anymore or going to leave us. And so that feels so scary that we give up things so that they don't feel uncomfortable. Like, oh, you're going to miss me. Okay, I won't go. It's like, let them fucking miss you. That's okay. That's actually a good thing, right? Or we say like, oh, you're going to feel like a little bad that I'm not there. Okay, then I won't go. And it's like our job is to not protect other people from feeling bad if we're and then sacrifice taking care of ourselves, right? Of course, we want to be nice, but we translate giving up self-care and our values and our passions and our goals as being nice. And that is because that's what we were taught in our society. And it's not nice because guess what? You end up being bitter. You end up giving up your dreams. You end up being super needy in the relationship because you're not getting fulfilled outside of it. And it leads to crazy making anyway, right? Yeah. So we want to address and be aware that we have this cognitive bias. Now, some people say, oh, well, if I realize it's just my thoughts, then that means that, I might stay in unhealthy relationships longer, right? But actually, if we're in, like, if I do the thought work and own that, but really, if we don't do the thought work and we stay and believe these insecure thoughts, right? If we have a belief that we are not worthy unless we are in relationship, or if this person doesn't feel uncomfortable all the time, that our worth is making sure other people are happy, we are actually more likely to stay in unhealthy relationships longer because we feel that being in a relationship, if we have that mindset, even if it sucks, establishes our worthiness. And we really want to be validated by that other person, right? But we can turn that around and not tolerate unhealthy relationships when we do the work on our own minds. And it's so important to address our thoughts and recognize, be mindful of like, where am I having these beliefs about my worthiness and lovability that is manifesting as anxiety here, manifesting maybe as jealousy too. Right? Because imagine if you had radiant inner confidence, ZG, and you knew you were grounded in yourself, you know what you want. This allows more genuine love and connection in our relationships, right? And allows us to maintain independence within our relationships. So we're not obsessing about, did someone text me or not? Or did they put emoji on it or not, right? We don't panic if we get a work email thinking, oh, fuck, I must have really screwed up. What's this going to say now? Right? Because this isn't just in intimate relationships. This is in all our social relationships, right? If friends don't invite us on a trip, we don't all of a sudden feel abandoned and start spiraling. This is what's possible when we manage our thoughts around our self-worth and lovability, which is, by the way, 100% from the day you were born. You are 100% lovable, 100% worthy, 100% Buddha nature in there since the day that you were born, right? You didn't have to earn that shit. You don't have to prove it. We're told we do. And then this leads to this high anxiety and grasping, right? You know, when we have that ZG, that confidence, if we have a disagreement with our partner or any close friend, we don't all of a sudden feel super insecure and anxious, right? I know this used to happen to me. Like if there was a conflict in a relationship, it like fucked up my day. I mean, I'd feel like nauseated about it all day. And I just like, can't wait to get done with work and just like get home and like talk about it and fix it, right? No, like if you have ZG, it's like, oh, there was that conflict. This happens in relationships. We're going to talk about it. We're going to work it out, right? Or not, and I'm still going to be okay, right? So we can have less social anxiety. We can actually enjoy our friendships, enjoy going to parties, enjoy when others are happy. We can be happy for others, have mudita when they're having fun, even if we weren't there, instead of obsessing about what did I miss and what went on without me and all that kind of stuff, right? And checking the phone and email is so much less stressful, right? Wouldn't that be game changing, right? So remember that one of the main reasons we have this anxiety in relationship is because of our socialization in a patriarchal society, along with the attachment styles and how our brains evolved. And we look outside of ourselves to the other person and to other people to validate us, to tell us that we're worthy. And it makes sense that this would make us anxious as fuck, because guess what? We don't have control over other people, over what they think or feel, right? And when we rely on others to establish our worth, that is crazy making, because you never know. You could do everything right and they could still think fucked up stuff. That shouldn't cause anxiety, ideally, right? That ideally is like, bye. Don't know what's going on with you. You're tripping, right? So be sure to check out the episode on letting people be wrong about you too. Okay. Which I forget what episode that is, but Google Rebel Buddhist, how to let people be wrong about you. It'll show up. Okay. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention today was about perfectionism, right? Because if you add that shit to an anxious attachment style, woo, we have like the perfect storm, right? So how many of you have an anxious attachment style where you're like worried what other people are thinking, worried you'll lose friendships, that you'll be abandoned, that someone has changed their mind about a relationship, etc. I know that I've been there for sure, right? Add to that expecting yourself to do things perfectly. I mean, we're talking like, no wonder we have panic attacks and anxiety, right? So, you know, with perfectionism, we think it's possible, but it's not, right? It's totally not possible. Yeah, she's like, raise your hand. Yes, lots of people raising their hands here. So perfectionism, and what tends to be coupled with perfectionism is like all or nothing thinking, right? It's like, this is either awesome and perfect or not. There's no in between here, right? Like, either our relationship is going so well, or we had that one disagreement and we're fucked. Now we have something to worry about, right? So we can all do this in any relationship that matters to us, friendships, intimate relationships, workplace. Like we worry, if I don't stay late, the boss is going to hate me, right? Or, oh, my friends are going to ditch me if I say no to them. My partner is going to change their mind about me if I go to that show without them, right? And it shows up as jealousy because we feel like our own worth is at risk, right? But in intimate relationships, it's really prominent because at one point, you're going to have to fart in front of them or take a shit in the house, right? I know y'all try to hide that, but what I'm trying to say is at some point, you're going to be imperfect. You're going to be seen. Your imperfectness will be seen. We are all imperfect because there's no such thing as perfect. And at some point, that's going to happen. You will have to be vulnerable and be seen as imperfect, right? And you might yell at someone or act out, right? We're going to fuck up. And this is totally normal, right? But we take our perfectionism and think other people expect the same. And like, oh, they just discovered I'm not perfect. This is why in the confidence course, I talk about how one of the best things for confidence is to be authentic. Because then you're like, I never said my shit don't stink. I never said that I was perfect, right? It can help you with confidence because you don't feel like you have to keep up this veneer of bullshit, right? So being authentic, being 100% yourself leads to more confidence because there is nothing to hide, right? But when we have an anxious attachment style and a perfectionist tendency with the belief that, hey, it's either good or not, right? That leads to so much more anxiety as well, right? And then we constantly try to get our partner to reassure us, but they can't fix it. Why? Because it's in our own thoughts, right? And when we have this mentality, we tend to super overanalyze things, right? Or we want to like move things quickly along so that we know if it's a yes. Are you going to commit to me? What about kids? Blah, 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 right? It's like we don't know how to go slowly because we don't want to risk that rejection. We want to lock it in, right? And that is how we were taught to be. So it makes sense that that happens, but it leads to a lot of suffering. So that's what we're talking about here, like some of these tools, right? Now, one of the things is that, I don't know if you remember, but I talked about how Carol Lowenthal had mentioned folks with anxious attachment styles tend to subconsciously pick someone with avoidant attachment styles. So this is also crazy making because the anxious attachment person is grasping and the avoidant attachment style person's like, get away, get away, get away. And it's this, and then they go, okay. And then the anxious person goes, oh, they love me, right? What ends up happening though is why, well, so I'm thinking like, why does this happen? Why would someone with an anxious personality style pick someone who's avoidant? Look, y'all, this is important. Listen, because then the anxious person is never forced to decide what they want. So instead, it's like, do you want to hang out this weekend? Are you okay if I leave town? Like it's all of this, like the other person makes the decisions. And even though the anxious person may not like the avoidant style, what they do like is not having to know what they want and make those decisions and make those calls and decide what they want and like in a relationship. So one of the tools you can use is to decide how you want relationship to be, not just going out, lassoing someone, reining him in and being like, let's see how this goes. Not sure if I like that about you. Oh, well, am I okay with that? Decide ahead of time. You get to decide how you want a relationship to be. How do you handle conflict? How often do you see each other? Do you like spend a lot of time together, just weekends? Like, are you doing your own thing a lot? What do you want? And some people are like, I don't know. I just want to be with someone who loves me. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. It works by us figuring out what we want, being so clear about it so that when we're in relationship, we're clear at the get-go. And we don't like, homie, don't play that. Like, I remember I dated this one dude who was like a total, like needed so much external validation from other people. And I just said, look, I don't do like leaving options open. Like, that's just not something I do. If you want to do that, that's cool, but that's not going to happen in a relationship with me, right? Like, ahead of time, instead of being like, maybe I am okay with this. And then your anxiety rises, right? No, we have to learn what we want in life and in relationship. There are so many people that I coach where when they start coaching, a big part of it is learning what they want again. Because so much of life was about helping other people get what they want, helping other people be happy, helping other people achieve their dreams. And now they commit to coaching and they're like, wow, I need to figure out what I like and want. Like really, not based on other people, right? And so this shows up a lot in relationship, right? Like, how do we talk to each other when we're angry? What's okay and what's not okay? And how do we work through that, right? That way, you decide ahead of time when you connect with someone, like, is this, or Castillo calls it like a want match? Is what I want what they want? Not, can I adapt my wants to what they want, right? Are we a match? That makes the relationship so much smoother, right? So, my husband and I, we have like lots of challenges, but one that we don't have is that we both want freedom. And we are very much good at like, okay, you're going to go do that. All right. As long as we can like figure out the childcare, like you can go. It wasn't always that way, right? We had a want match before we had kids. Go do your thing. I'll do my thing. It was awesome. And then we had our kid. Then it was all of a sudden like, oh, this isn't really equal here. And we had to work that out, but we wanted the same thing. And I think it helped eventually get to a place where we could work it out, right? So like, what do you want? And decide that. So that's one of the biggest things you can do, right? And when we don't do that, we can see this show up as drama in relationships, right? Like we are used to in these sort of dysfunctional relationship matches, like this needing reassurance, getting rejected, being reassured, needing reassurance, getting rejected, being reassured, right? And it's like crazy making, but it's predictable and the brain likes predictability. But then, you meet someone with a secure attachment style who doesn't play that game and they're like, why are you pushing me away? I love you. Let me know how to help. And we're like, what the fuck is that? Get away. That is too easy and healthy. Right? We're like, oh my gosh. So I have to know my needs and decide what's important and communicate that. Yes. Not just focusing on chasing that external validation and reassurance and the drama. Okay. So exploring your ideal relationship. So far, aware of your cognitive bias, how you're filtering the world, be aware when that's happening. Like, oh, isn't that interesting? Would someone have thought of that in a different way? Would they had different filters on, right? And then getting to know what we want, right? It's key to knowing if someone's a right fit, right? All right, other things, other last tips I'm going to leave you with. Live an amazing life without a partner. Yeah. When you realize you can have a fulfilling life without one, it will come more easily. I know we all have heard that, but it is actually true. Ask people, right? It's annoying, but it's true, right? And another one, if someone says they aren't ready, they mean it, believe it. If they say they have trouble with commitment, they mean it, believe it. Do not convince yourself you're an exception to this or that they don't know themselves. Believe what people tell you in this case, right? So many times people are like, oh, well, they said they're not ready for commitment, but that they were willing to try. It's like, no, we have to start believing what people say when it comes to them trying to express that, okay? Doing the work to believe we deserve kind, respectful, and amazing partners, right? So many times our sense of self-worth is like, they're all taken. I'm never going to find that. I'm not her. I'm not them. They're so cool. I could never find that for myself. No, we have to believe that we deserve and that they're out there. It helps us not pick partners who are assholes, right? Something more practical, I kind of mentioned earlier, avoiding caffeine if you have an anxious attachment style, because it does not make anything better, y'all. Right? Ever. My girlfriends used to listen to me, call them batshit crazy. I don't think he loves me anymore. Oh, I don't know what to do. What do you think I should do? Should I text or should I just calm down? And they'd be like, girl, did you drink coffee today? Because I don't normally drink coffee. And I'd be like, oh, right. Maybe I should not do that and wait for my shit to calm down, right? Now, lastly, surround yourself with people who don't buy into anxious attachment style bullshit, who don't feed your beliefs like, yeah, you're kind of getting along there. You better pick someone soon, right? No. You want to surround yourself with people who support you in believing your inherent lovability and self-worth, that like support that, right? Who aren't going to pitch some fear-based bullshit to you, right? and believe that there is someone out there for you, right? Because the people that we spend the most time with plant thoughts and beliefs in our mind. So we need to choose them wisely, right? Otherwise, they like feed into our anxiety and then it's more crazy making. And some people bond that way. It's like, I'm anxious, let's make you anxious. Oh, we're all so anxious. No, that doesn't have to be that way, right? Like in Freedom School or here, you're all on Wake the Fuck Up Wednesday. The people here are on the same path. In Freedom School, go to joinfreedomschool.com, on the same path, right? We're focusing on mastering emotional wellness this month, which is like so important, right? We do a lot of work on relationships in there. Surround yourself with people that lift you up. Notice how you feel after hanging out with someone. Do you feel more anxious? Do you feel drained? Or do you feel lit up, right? Okay. Surds here put, hearing that I'm not just nuts and that I'm not alone is like having a ton of bricks lifted off my shoulders. Thank you for taking the time to do what you do. You are so welcome. And you are definitely not alone, right, y'all? We are not alone. So thank you for coming today. All right. Oops. There we go. I think we're back. So thank you for coming today. Have an amazing rest of your week. All right. And the pod's going to drop tomorrow. And I will be available if you want to tag me for any questions in the Rebel Buddhist Facebook group here. Otherwise, I will see you next week. Okay. And it's 20. Somebody asked, is it still freezing in Alaska? Well, it's 14 degrees, but that's 20 degrees warmer than it was a couple days ago. So it feels toasty. All right, y'all. I'll see you next week. Mwah. Bye. Bye, Cindy. Oh, you're so welcome. You're welcome. Welcome. Yes. Have a lovely holiday, Catherine. Bye.